Matthew chapter 18, verses 21 through 35. It's a lot of scripture, so buckle up. Verse 21. Then Peter came up and said to him, this is Jesus he's talking to, Lord, how often will my brother sin against me and I have to forgive him? As many as, this is going to sound crazy, but 7 times? Jesus said to him, I'll say to you 7 times, but 77 times. And he starts on this parable. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who wished to settle accounts with his servants, king's servants. When he began to settle, one was brought to him who owed him 10,000 talents. And since he couldn't pay it, his master ordered him to be sold with his wife, with his children, with everything that he had, and payment to therefore be made. So the servant, he fell on his knees, imploring him, begging him, right? Have patience with me, and I'll pay you everything. Verse 27, out of pity for him, the master of that servant released him and forgave him all of the debt completely. 28, when that same servant, when he went out, he saw one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 denarii, and seizing him, began to choke him around the throat, saying, pay what you owe. So his fellow servant fell down and pleaded with him. And he said, have patience with me, and I will pay you. Sounds familiar. So what did he do? He refused. And he went and put him in prison so he could pay the debt. Oof. When his fellow servants saw what had taken place, they were greatly distressed, and they went and reported to their master all that had taken place. Then his master summoned him and said to him, you wicked servant, I forgave you all that debt because you plead with me. And should you not have mercy on your fellow servant as I had mercy on you? And in anger, his master delivered him to the jailers until he could pay off his debt. So also my heavenly Father will do this to every one of you if you don't forgive your brother in your heart. The bottom line for tonight is forgive like you've been forgiven. And we're going to hang out on the forgiveness piece and on what God can do. There's a master and there's a servant. You can picture God as the master or as the king, and you can picture yourself as the servant in this parable. And there's a punishment at the end that we're not going to focus on so much tonight. We're going to focus on the grace and the forgiveness and the mercy and the compassion. It's not that, a punishment can't or doesn't exist. We're just focusing on forgiveness tonight because I think it's important, and we're going to get into why. But before we do, a lot of us have spent a lot of time studying things that we really enjoy, like math or science, calculus. Anybody in biology? What beautiful topics that we love to study and learn more about. How to get TikTok famous. We're studying all these things. Just me, I don't know, whatever, man. We're studying stuff, we spend time. If you're a hungry follower of God, you probably even study God's word, and that's great. Give yourself a pat on the back for that one. But I bet that no matter who we are, probably myself even included, we don't spend enough time studying the importance of forgiveness. There's forgiveness, and we all probably know what that is and what it feels like to forgive somebody, finally, or to be forgiven for something that you've done. But if I were to ask you to define it, it would be kind of hard. Like, what's the definition of forgiveness? What's the importance of it? And I'll tell you this right now, the importance of forgiveness is great because our entire faith hinges on the concept of forgiveness. The perfect God-man, Jesus Christ, came to the planet Earth to live the perfect life that you could not. He was successful at it. Then he died the death that you deserved. And he was dead for 3 days before rising again and defeating death. But on the cross, and in doing so, he said, if you believe in me, like, all of your sins are forgiven. Your slate is wiped clean. You're a new creation. You're adopted into the family of God. And that's all it takes. He forgave you already for the stuff that you're doing today, for the stuff that you're going to do tomorrow, for the stuff that you're going to do 10 or 15 years from now that you're not even aware of. He already paid for it on the cross. So I love how Jesus answers Peter when he comes to him with this question that we've all asked. It's like, yeah, God, we know you did that for us. We know what forgiveness is, basically. But when someone sins against me, how many times should I forgive them? Before it's enough, before it's ridiculous, before I'm a doormat, before I say, get out of here. Like, we're not cool anymore, man. How many times? And then Peter goes, would I be absurd as to say up to even 7 times? You know, a lot of us, we have like these mental rules, like whenever it comes to when people cross us or wrong us or gossip about us or talk negatively to our face or behind our back. And it's like, fool me once. Shame on you, you big jerk. Fool me twice, shame on me. I should have seen that coming. But after that, I swear. Or we have the 3 strikes, you're out of here rule. Yeah, that. And 3 outs, 3 strikes, you're gone. So it was an exaggeration for Peter to say 7. He's like, that would be a lot. And Jesus comes back at him with, you think that's a lot? 7? Please. How about 77? And it's not like 77 is like the actual literal number of times you need to forgive somebody before you're like, all right, you're out of here, punk. It's not like at 78, it's like, well, it was fine up to 77, but then at 78, well, that's just ridiculous. You need to get away from that fool. They're just toxic. Back up. I'm so glad God doesn't do that for me. I don't know about you, because I've probably sinned more than 77 times today. And so, like, I'm just being honest. Son, you've sinned way more than that. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm glad God doesn't say, well, Ren, it's been 77, and well, that was one more, so you're going to hell, and we'll see you there. Or later. I won't see you there. Come on. You can't associate with evil. Get real. He said it to make a point. He was like, you think this? No. He might as well have just said 1,000,000 times. And here's the point that he was trying to make. Your forgiveness of other people should be limitless. You should forgive people indefinitely. And you're like, whoa, that doesn't seem right. I should just let people walk all over me? That's not right. Right? Like, it can't be. Why? How? What? But get this. We were created in the image of God to be like Him. And God's forgiveness is limitless of us. Yeah, you don't have to necessarily be friends. There's a point where you can take advantage of the forgiveness and your relationship changes, but He still forgives you. And so should we. Jesus says, let me put it to you like this, and this is where He tells the story. So starting in verse 23, if you're following along, He says, the kingdom of heaven might be compared to a king who wished to settle accounts with his servants. Y'all tracking with me? Yes? Okay. Settle accounts, he wants to be good. I picture like someone who's in debt, they sit down at a big oak desk, and they're like, all right, what's the damage? When he began to settle, this guy, he was brought in, and he owed him 10,000 talents. Oh my gosh, what does that mean? 10,000 was the highest number in the Greek numerical system. It was the biggest number they had. They couldn't imagine anything more than 10,000. And a talent was the largest monetary value at the time. It was like the most money. So he's talking about the most, and then 10,000 times that, which is the most we can possibly fathom or comprehend. So he basically just said, like, he owed him a zillion, bojillion, go-gillion dollars, right? It's impossible to pay back. Like, it's impossible to even begin to repay. Notice also, though, who he's in debt to. Like, he wasn't just in debt to Amazon Prime or, like, buying a bunch of silly junk and, like, you know, in debt to all these various lenders. He was in debt to the king. He had borrowed money. He had been given everything that he owed directly from the king. Which tells me that the king was extremely gracious. The king is extremely gracious. Like beyond comprehension gracious. You are in debt to the king, who has been unfairly gracious to you, for you to have what you have. for you to have an opportunity at eternity in heaven. To pay it is impossible. It's insurmountable. The king allowed him to be in this situation where he had accrued impossible debt. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? That seems mean. It seems like you were trying to be nice, but it just ended up being mean because now I'm trapped and I'm desperate and I'm scared. Do you know how that feels? To be trapped or desperate or scared? For it to feel like there's no way you'll ever be good enough. You'll ever measure up. You'll ever do enough or say the right things. You'll have whatever you need to feel okay again, and it's impossible. Like there's no hope whatsoever. It's a terrible place to be. I think it has a lot to do with anxiety, depression, self-harm, addiction to various coping mechanisms. And it's rough. Verse 25, check this out though. This is good news for all of us. Since he couldn't pay, which we're all in that situation, none of us can, his master ordered him to be, it's not the good news yet, it gets worse before it gets better. His master ordered him to be sold with his wife and his children and everything that he had in order for payment to be made. He's like, that's how much you owe me, it's everything you got and then some. So the servant fell on his knees and he's begging him. He's like, have patience on me. Forgive me and I'll pay you everything. Like, I swear I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Trust me. Like, just give me another chance. Like, let me try again. Let me try again. Y'all ever said that? Here's the deal. God allows us to go into debt. Like, he doesn't put us in debt. He allows us to go into debt, giving us things that we think we want so that he can take it all away. So much so that it's impossible. So much so that we're feeling so defeated, so lost, so scared, and so trapped that the only way that anyone could ever pull us out, it would be a straight miracle by Jesus himself. And he wants to show up in your life. He wants to show up. He wants to make sure that it's impossible for any number of likes or followers to make you feel okay. For any words from a boyfriend or a girlfriend to make you feel like enough. It's only one thing that can ever be enough. It's him, it's his love, it's his grace, mercy, compassion, forgiveness, so that when we finally realize we're not enough, but Jesus in us he's the only way, the truth, and the life. That no one comes to the Father except through him, we'll realize it's the only source of what we've been looking for the whole time. This is what God does for us. Verse 27, out of pity or love, some translations say love or compassion for him, the master of that servant released him, said, you know what, be free. How good would those words be to hear? Released him and then did something amazing, unheard of, ridiculous, no one expected it, forgave all the debt. Just like that. Clean slate, boom, gone. White as snow, right? Why would he do that? So we would love him. You know, when somebody does some ridiculous act of love, it's hard not to respond in a type of way. It's hard not to just take it and be like, well, thanks. Like that. It's pretty jerky, right? When I go through a drive-through line, some of y'all know this about me. I always tell the person I love you. It's like, your total is going to be $19.26, sir. Please pull up to the first window. Thank you, I love you. I love you too. Oh yeah! It's like the best whenever they say it back. But it wouldn't really hurt my, because that's just what you do. Like, whenever someone says, I love you, it's hard not to say, I love you too. Even if it's just like compulsive or something. It's like, I don't even know. Crap, what have I done? Have I given them the wrong image? Like, I just responded in a moment. And it's just what you say. But, you know, I wouldn't really be mad if, like, they didn't say it back, because sometimes they don't. It's like, your total is $19.26, sir. Please pull up to the first window. Thanks, I love you. Please go up to the first window, sir. I'm like, oh man! But I at least want people to know they're loved, you know? But it would be different if I told my son, I have two boys, 2 girls who aren't old enough to really know to articulate it back to me yet, but my boys are, and it would be different if I said, hey guys, I love you. I want you to know that. And they just looked at me, they were like, darn right you do. Or, what would be worse is if I said, guys, I love y'all. And they said, thanks, Dad. But I hate you. And I hate everybody else too. And then they flipped me the bird and they walked away. You know how much that would hurt my soul? Like to the core? Don't ever tell your parents you hate them, by the way. Just throw them, that's free. I would be so broken, no? I was broken just imagining that. I would sit there and think, wait, what? Where did that come from? What have I done? Except sacrifice everything I could to give you everything you need as best I ever could. That's not what I taught you. It would be so painful. And that's exactly what happens next in the story. Look at verse 28. Remember the servant who we were just talking about, who owed this impossible debt and then it just had it all erased? You would think he would say, love you too, Dad. What does he do? What does he do with this forgiveness? What does he do with this gift? Does he use it to bless others? He says, Jesus is still talking. When that servant, he went out. Remember, I can't emphasize enough, he had been loved much. He had been forgiven much. He saw one of his fellow servants. He's in the same boat as him. He's a servant just like me. You look around this room, you're the same as me. We're all children of God. We're all created on this earth to serve and glorify him. He's in the same boat. This other servant owed this servant, who had just been forgiven much, who was loved much, you owe me $100. You owe me 100 denarii. It was like nothing compared to the debt that he had just had erased. So what's his response? He seized him like Conor McGregor, and he began to choke him out. He said, pay what you owe. So his fellow servant, this is going to sound familiar, he fell down to his knees and he pleaded with them. And he said, have patience with me. Sound familiar? That's exactly what I said earlier. And I'll pay you. I'll do anything. I'll do anything. I'll do anything. He has a chance to have some mercy. He has the chance to have the same compassion, to exercise the same forgiveness that was given to him. But you know what? Verse 30, he refused. He refused. And he went back and he put him in prison until he could pay off the debt that he owed him. Because he thinks his way of justice is better than God's way of justice. He thinks he knows how to punish, how to give the person what they deserve better than God does. He put himself in the place of God. Do we do that? Man, imagine someone just gave you a bag of hot Cheetos, which is the greatest snack on the face of the planet. I mean, the extra hot ones too, in the black bag. And you didn't do anything to work for the bag of Cheetos. It was totally free. You didn't even buy them or anything. Someone just gave you the bag free. Family size bag too. You're blessed. And you're eating the Cheetos, taking that free gift, having the time of your life, thinking this must be heaven on earth. Thinking, thy kingdom come, your will be done. And then one of your friends comes up to you and is like, let me get a Cheeto though. And you're like, no, these are my Cheetos! Back away, fool! Lips all red and everything, fingertips gonna be red for 3 weeks. Looking fool over here. That'd be ridiculous. You would look at that person and be like, wow, what a jerk, right? But you know what? We're all that same jerk, aren't we? You're that jerk. I'm that jerk. We forgive little when we've been forgiven much. We love little when we've been loved much, when we've been loved greatly, we hold grudges, don't we? We want people to pay. We want people to suffer. When someone wrongs us, we hope somebody wrongs them just as bad, twice as bad. We hope somebody gets what we think they deserve. We want someone to feel what we felt when they did that to us. I can hear the King saying, I can hear God saying, what? That's not how I raised you. That's not what I taught you. That's not why I sacrificed everything and did everything I could for you. So that you could turn around and use my gift like that? How painful. The King says in verse 33, should you not have had mercy? You can hear like just the pain in his voice. He's like, you don't get it. Should you have had mercy on your fellow servant? Just like I had mercy on you? Look, you have hurt God. You have. We all have. We sin every single day, and it breaks the Father's heart. Yet, God's forgiveness is perfect, and it's unending, right? It's indefinite, which praise Jesus for that. And you might say, like, Ray, you don't know what I've done. You don't know what I've seen, what I've thought. You don't know what's inside me, like what I've experienced, how people have been to me online, to my face, behind my back. I can't forgive. I can't do it. You're right. Like I don't know. But somebody does know. His name is Jesus, and you know what? He already died for you, knowing everything already. He already did. The cross is bigger than all of it, than anything that has ever been done to you, that you've ever done to somebody. The cross is greater than anything that you've ever said or anything that's ever been said to you. And some of us just need to receive that right now. Some of us just need to hear that because it hasn't ever felt like that before. It felt like those things that have been said, those things that have been done, they're impossible. They're unovercomable. And there's no hope for me. But it's not true. You can forgive just like God has forgiven you whenever you've been hurt. You don't have to be like the wicked servant. Right? But also hear this too. A lot of us, we equate forgiveness with forgetting. And I think they're separate. I think that you don't have to forget in order to forgive. You can remember what happened. You can remember what was said, what was done. But you can wish the person the best or whatever. You can pray that they find Jesus someday, that God changes and transforms their heart. Yeah, that's a step towards forgiveness. That's big stuff. How will you know when you're truly forgiven? Ask yourself that. When you've really forgiven someone, how will you know? What will it take? What will it look like? Because Christ died to set you free, and you don't have to carry the weight of unforgiveness anymore. He took it all. Some of us, we need to forgive somebody tonight. It could be a sibling who's just made you feel terrible about yourself every single day, that you don't want to be around whatsoever. It could be someone at school who goes out of their way to treat you like garbage. It could be a parent or a step-parent even. It makes you feel about this big because they have an anger problem and they take it out on you because you're an easy target. It could be someone online who's harassed you and continues to. It could be the whole online community. It could be a whole type of people. You need to offer forgiveness tonight, because unforgiveness will eat you alive. I promise you. I promise you. Some of us in here, there's another thing that we've got to do. And this is for us who are feeling hopeless. We need to accept forgiveness, because we've hurt other people. You're sitting in this room and you're the person who said something. You're the person who's done something. And if you're honest with yourself, you're not proud of it. You're ashamed of it. And you don't want to be that person anymore. You've got to hear this tonight, like when God sees you, if you've put your faith in Jesus, he doesn't see that. He sees his perfect son. And you just need to receive that tonight. That it's okay. You are loved. You are forgiven. And you're not defined by your past mistakes. You're defined by who Christ is in your life.